Hey Canucks fans, welcome to the line change. In this video, we're going to be talking about an article from Canucks Army talking about who's the best one-hit wonder in Canucks history. Now, obviously, we briefly touched on this in our Tyler Toffoli video, which, by the way, if you guys have not checked that out, go ahead and check that out. You guys can check that out right here. So, without any further ado, actually, quickly before we dive into this article, I want to give a shout out to my sponsor, Gassy Jack Art, as I always do, maker of this amazing artwork you see here behind me. And you guys can check them out yourselves at GassyJackArt.com. You guys can also find him on Instagram at GassyJackArt. I do have a link to his website in the description down below. So let's go ahead and take a look at this article from our friends at Canucks Army, written by Tyson Cole. This article was posted yesterday. And he goes on to say, earlier in the summer, we at Canucks Army initiated a fan voting campaign on our social platforms, asking Canuck fans numerous questions about their favorite and least favorite things in the franchise's history. If you guys have been following along with Canucks Army, you guys will have seen that they had, the likes of best draft pick, worst draft pick, best enforcer, best looking, best free agent signing, worst free agent signing, best coach, worst coach, favorite backup goalie, favorite player, best trade, worst trade. And they go on to say, for example, Pavel Bure was voted the best draft pick and favorite player. Alex Burrows was the best free agent signing, and Marcus Naslund was the best trade in Canucks history. While Olli Juolevi was voted as the worst draft pick, definitely. Mark Messier was the worst free agent signing, abso-freaking-lutely, and Cam Neely was the worst trade in franchise history. Anywho, that gave us the idea to dive into who might have been the best one-hit wonder in franchise history. Canucks Army conducted a similar exercise back in 2023, but that article highlighted flash-in-the-pan moments and spark seasons of Canuck vets. For today, we'll just be going over the true one-hit wonders, the Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice, and the 2012 Linsanity Run type of one-hit wonders of the world, but a Canucks version. We're deciding to look into the players who only played one season in Vancouver. There are a few names we left off the list, players like UC Jokinen, 10 points in 14 games, and Tyler Toffoli, 10 points in 10 games. I still disagree with him being left off this list. Sure, he didn't play a full season with the Canucks, but he put up 10 points in 10 games. And technically, if you want to be technical, put up 10 points in 10 regular season games. Technically played 17 if you include the 7 playoff games that he played. And he put up 5 points. So he technically put up 15 points in 17 games with the Vancouver Canucks. Had short stints but produced at a high level. Jimmy Carson, 17 points in 34 games. Claire Alexander, 26 points as a defenseman in 34 games. And Thomas Curvers, 27 points as a defenseman in 32 games. All put up impressive point totals, but were toward the tail end of their careers and had inconsistent defensive lapses that, in the end, probably hurt the team. However, there are 8 other Canucks who made a difference in their short stint in Vancouver. First up, we have Anson Carter, who played 81 games, 33 goals, 22 assists, 55 points. It seemed like Anson Carter's time in Vancouver lasted longer than one season. However, his brief impact played a role in helping the Canucks mold the next wave of successful seasons. Carter signed a 1-year deal with the Canucks following the lockout season. He was immediately paired on the right wing with Daniel and Henrik Sedin, and they immediately gelled. Pairing Carter with the Twins was the missing piece the Sedins needed to fully blossom into the superstars they became, which makes you think, if it wasn't for Anson Carter, would Daniel and Henrik had the seasons that they had? Or rather, careers that they had. Before Carter arrived, Daniel and Henrik usually hovered around the 35 to 45 point range. However, when they played with Carter, the Twins exploded offensively, both eclipsing the 70-point threshold for the first time in their careers. Just seemed fitting that Carter would finish the year with 33 goals and 22 assists in his one season with the Sedins In Vancouver, Carter paved the way for Alex Burrows to succeed in the same role years down the line. Carter would not re-sign with the Canucks that offseason as he was seeking a bigger contract than Vancouver was willing to offer. He bounced between the Columbus Blue Jackets and Carolina Hurricanes over the next 2 seasons, yet never hit the same heights. Carter called it a career shortly thereafter. Next up, we have Anatoly Semenov, played 62 games, 10 goals, 34 assists, 44 points. The Canucks acquired Semenov from the Tampa Bay Lightning early in the 1992-93 season. Despite playing in just 61 games, the Russian playmaker center produced behind players like Pavel Bure, Trevor Linden, Jeff Courtnall, Greg Adams, and Cliff Ronning. Semenov's passing ability stood out with his 34 assists and helped the Canucks win the Smythe Division for the second year in a row. However, his 1 goal and 4 points in 12 postseason games weren't enough to get the Canucks past the LA Kings in the second round. After the season, the Canucks left Semenov exposed in the 93 expansion draft, and the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim picked him off the roster. Next up, we have Thomas Vanek, 61 games played, 17 goals, 24 assists, 41 points. Vanek was certainly on the back nine of his career when he joined the Canucks. After his strong 11-year career with the Buffalo Sabres, the Austrian winger bounced around with the New York Islanders, Montreal Canadiens, Minnesota Wild, Detroit Red Wings, and Florida Panthers before finding his way to the Pacific Northwest in 2017-2018. Inking a 1-year, $2 million deal in Vancouver in early September, Vanek was signed as a veteran presence to play with a young Brock Besser. His leadership helped Besser finish runner-up for the Calder Trophy. Vanek had a successful season himself, scoring at a 0.67 point per game pace at 36 years old. With the Canucks on the outside looking in on the playoff picture, they shopped Vanek at the trade deadline. While they were hoping to aim for a mid-round pick, they struck a deal with the Columbus Blue Jackets for Tyler Mott and Jussi Jokinen. His mentorship with a young Besser still has a lasting impression on the Canucks today. Next up, we have Raffi Torres. Played 80 games, 14 goals, 15 assists, 29 points. After terrorizing Vancouver from 2003 to 2008 as a member of the division rival Edmonton Oilers, Torres signed a 1-year, $1 million contract with the Vancouver Canucks in 2010. $1 million. Torres was brought in to provide physicality, grit, and energy to the Canucks' bottom six. The Toronto, Ontario native was a wrecking ball on the forecheck, stopping at nothing to throw his body at anybody standing in his way. While his 29 points were a little below his season average, his impact was felt more during their 2011 Stanley Cup playoff run. And that run I remember very fondly. Getting paired on the left with Maxime Lapierre and Yannick Hansen, the trio formed an energy line, instilling fear in the opposition defense and on the forecheck. But what he will be remembered by is his goal in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals, breaking the scoreless tie with 18.5 seconds remaining. Despite failing one game short of hockey's ultimate glory, Torres got a raise in free agency, signing a 2-year, $3.5 million deal with the Phoenix Coyotes. Next up, and probably one of the big ones on this list, is Matt Sundin. 41 games played, 9 goals, 19 assists, 28 points. After months of speculating on whether to hang the skates up or return for an 18th season, Matt Sundin decided to sign a 1-year, $8.6 million contract with the Canucks in December of 2008. Now, this was obviously at the time a very huge signing for the Canucks, and actually a friend of mine, someone who a lot of people might know, he's been on other content creators' channels, such as, he's been on Canucks Uncensored, he's been on Clay's, he's mainly on Clay's, but Swerve and Urban had a really good point. He mentioned earlier today when the two of us were on the Canucks Uncensored show. He compared the Matt Sundin signing in 2008 to Thomas Mueller of today and him signing with the Whitecaps. That is how he compared Matt Sundin signing with the Vancouver Canucks, and I thought that was a great comparison. So that was a darn good one, Irv. And yeah, back in 2008, Matt Sundin was essentially the Thomas Mueller for the Vancouver Canucks back then. Sundin did not make his debut until the new year, and even then he took some time getting his feet under him. But by February, Sundin started clicking with line mates Ryan Kessler and Pavel Demitra, recording 7 points over a 3-game span. His veteran leadership helped Canucks bounce back and win the Northwest Division. In the playoffs, Sundin stepped up his game, scoring 3 goals and 8 points in 8 games. However, the Canucks would fall 4-2 to the Chicago Blackhawks, and Sundin called it a career. While he picked up his game as the season progressed, the idea of signing 37-year-old Sundin shone brighter than the actual outcome. Next up, we have Mike Santorelli. 49 games played, 10 goals, 18 assists, 28 points. After struggling to find his footing in the NHL, Santorelli returned to his hometown team in 2013-2014. He signed with Vancouver to be a low-cost depth piece, but quickly became the season's biggest surprise. He impressed head coach John Tortorella enough in training camp that he played himself onto the opening night roster. Due to his speed and work ethic, Santorelli would earn himself top 6 minutes, on pace to set a new career highs. Santorelli had his breakout campaign cut short due to a season-ending shoulder injury in January. There was no homecoming for the Vancouver native as he chose to sign with the Toronto Maple Leafs later that summer. Next up on this list, Nikita Zadorov. 54 games played, 5 goals, 9 assists, 14 points. In 2024, the Canucks were having their best season since winning back-to-back President's Trophies in 2010, 2011, and 2011-2012. However, they were in need of a spark on the backhand. They addressed that need by trading with the Calgary Flames for Zadorov. Unfortunately, in that trade, no. That was the Lindholm. I was going to say Andrei Kuzmenko, but that was the Lindholm trade. Scratch that. Zadorov made an impact immediately, picking up a primary assist in his Canucks debut against the team that traded him. His physical impact was also felt as he racked up 19 hits and 26 penalty minutes in his first 10 games in the blue and green. Despite playing just 54 games for the Canucks, Zadorov finished first in penalty minutes with 92 and sixth in hits with 124. However, when Canucks fans really began to fall in love with quote-unquote Big Z was when they saw the impact he made in the playoffs. He scored some clutch goals for the Canucks, like when he weaved through Nashville defenders in the neutral zone and finished with a sharp angle snipe. I remember that goal very fondly because I saw that not, at the arena, but I was watching the game and I saw that. But his most memorable one came in Game 1 of the second round against the Edmonton Oilers, where his thunderous slap shot tied the game in what would result in a miraculous third-period comeback. That I also watched live on TV. I was actually at a friend's house and with a bunch of us, and we all just jumped for the heavens when he scored that goal. The 6'6" Russian defenseman worked hard to get a deal done that offseason, but unfortunately for Canucks fans, he would sign with the Boston Bruins in free agency. There's a bit of a caveat with that they don't mention in this. It says he worked hard to get a deal done that offseason. Seemed like, and this is just my own personal opinion, seems like Zadorov was kind of using the Canucks as a bargaining chip. As Jim Rutherford would go on to say that, they offered Zadorov what he wanted. He said, "This is what I want." The Canucks eventually said, "Okay, here you go." And then Zadorov would go like, "Oh, I want this too," and added more to what he wanted. And then when the Canucks were ready to give it to him, he goes and signs with Boston. But his time was short, but Canucks fans will never forget Zadorov for his clutch goals and grit in the playoffs, as well as the fear he instilled in opponents. Next up we have is Arturs Urbe. 41 games played with a 14-11-6 record, a 2.73 goals against average, and a .907 save percentage. As the Canucks transitioned to the disappointing Mark Messier era, the Canucks added Arturs Urbe to their plethora of netminders. The Canucks had longtime starter Kirk McLean heading that season, but as the season rolled on, Urbe started stealing starts from McLean. By January, the Canucks traded McLean to the Carolina Hurricanes in exchange for another goaltender, Sean Burke. Burke became the starter for a while before Urbe worked his way back into consistent rotation, while the Canucks as a whole struggled, finishing last in the Pacific Division. Urbe finished the year with the most starts and the best numbers. That offseason, Urbe decided to move on. Oddly enough, Urbe joined McLean in Carolina, signing a one-year deal with the Hurricanes before extending for 3 more seasons in 1999. To answer the question, the easy answer is Anson Carter, as he scored the most points and helped level up the Sedins. However, and this might be recency bias, but when Canucks fans look back on Nikita Zadorov's postseason run, it's hard not to think the towering defenseman could give Carter a run for his money. And that is the article. What do you think, Canucks fans? Who do you think is the best one-hit wonder in Canucks history? Do you guys think it's Matt Sundin? Do you guys think it's Anson Carter? Do you think it's Nikita Zadorov? Or are you kind of like me thinking, why isn't Tyler Toffoli on this list? Do you guys think it might be Tyler Toffoli? Do you guys think it might be Arturs Urbe? Let me know in the comment section down below who you guys think. And as always, if you guys like this video, be sure to hit that like button. And if you want to stay up to date on all your Vancouver Canucks content, be sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a single video. You can find and interact with us on social media. You can find us on Facebook. Just search The Line Change to find our Facebook page. You can find us on Instagram at The Line Change. You can find us on X at Line Change Van. Find us on TikTok at the TLC Podcast. And if you prefer an audio version of this podcast, you can find us on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. On Spotify, feel free to give us a follow as well as rate and review us. It's of course greatly appreciated and really helps out the podcast. But that's going to do it for me. As always, let's go Canucks, and I'll see you guys in the next video.